I now open this Police and Employment Committee at 7 o'clock a.m. on the 31st of August, 2023.
Would you like me to start?
Yeah, start.
We should be fairly brief tonight, but enclosed in your packet is a job description as prepared by our current chief. Let me talk in the microphone here. Prepared by our current chief in regards to the recruitment of a new police chief. Our police chief will be, his last official day with the town will be October 1st. Okay, so we've called this meeting to make sure you guys are agreeable. I would like for any comments if you have them on that job description. I have talked to the mayor, and because of the timing, obviously we need to hire a new chief. After tonight, I'd like to go ahead and prepare advertisement and put it in local paper, VML, VACO newsletter, and I think there's a Virginia Police Chiefs Association newsletter of some sort that the chief said he would help me get the advertisement in. So if you're agreeable, and I don't know if you've had enough time to read that job description. I don't know if Jennifer sent it to you ahead of time or not, but that is a job description we have intend on using for our recruitment of the next police chief in the town of Blackstone. It is our intention to advertise it, certainly 2 weeks, potentially longer with some of these websites and that sort of thing with Virginia Municipal League and Virginia Association of Counties. The one thing I want to point out to you that is, I can't say arbitrary, but is a recommendation by the chief, is that the candidate have 10 years of experience in law enforcement. And if that's agreeable to you guys, I think it's certainly reasonable to be a police chief. But that is the one thing that has some variance or potential variance in it.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you said that you're going to put it in the paper. And how long of a time period is that?
Well, typically we will run a job advertisement two times, but we would leave it open. We can either do it until filled, or we can give it a deadline. And there's pros and cons to doing either of those, but without much decision-making necessary tonight, we can certainly shut it off in probably 30, 45 days
Okay,
to receive
question is,
applications.
when the chief is, which we is 30 days from now. So until we get a replacement for the chief, then what we're going to do, use somebody from within?
Well, we have 2 sergeants currently
Okay.
that are in charge of both shifts. We also have a corporal, Shay Farley, who's in charge of the night shift. And then we have Sam Murphy, who's a detective that's here during the day. And I would anticipate leaving it the same. I'll create one of those, or I'll request one of those individuals to be my communication point. I would anticipate it'd probably be Sam, because he's on every day. He doesn't rotate necessarily on the schedule. So my communications with the police department would be through Stephanie or
That's
with
the only question I
Sam.
was asking, because
Yeah.
you got an overlap there.
Yeah, because we don't want no vacancy.
Mm-hmm.
So the chief last day is 27th, if I'm not mistaken, because I saw that.
His retirement party or festivities, or however you want to call it, will be on the 27th. That's correct.
But his last day is the 30th.
The 1st of October is, I believe, is for his official last day, but based on his retirement letter that he provided to us.
I would like to see the application get started in the papers.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully if we get some applicants,
Yes, ma'am.
he can sit in on the interview process.
I'll ask him if you'd like to. It'd be helpful,
And that
for
way
sure.
he knows the question to ask. I can ask anything. I don't know what I'm asking.
I'll ask him if he'll join us for interviews, and he may very well. I'm sure he's planning on doing some traveling and all those kinds of things to see if we can work around his schedule for whatever he anticipates doing in retirement. But I think it would be a courtesy that he would appreciate. Yeah.
Maybe try to get some applicants before October the 1st while he's still here, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. And he can screen the applicants as well and help us with some of that. I think Chief would be pleased to do that, and I wouldn't see him hesitating in any way other than just scheduling
You got a
to make
pay
sure.
scale on here?
Pardon?
You got a pay scale on here?
I do not.
So what is this new chief's going to start out at?
Well, that'd be a decision for us to make. We can make the position right now on the advertising salary depending on qualifications, and I can tell you what the chief currently makes is in the 80,000 range. But I can give you an exact dollar figure. Jackie can find that very quickly.
When jobs are posted, I've seen at work,
Mm-hmm.
there's usually a statement at the beginning that says, by applying, I basically are stating that you do meet the minimum qualifications.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have people that don't meet these minimum qualifications that we wind up going through paperwork
Okay.
and the process for. I don't know if that's something that could be added to the
Certainly.
posting. So that they're not applying if they don't at least have what's the minimum qualifications there. It's just an idea.
I think that's good to cut out all
It
that
filters
red
out
tape.
quick, and on top of that, if you put, there's actually questions, as I understand now, and you answer, like, do you possess a driver's license? Yes. Do you possess a current law enforcement, blah, blah, blah?
Right.
Yes. And if your answer to no is it to any of those questions that are asked or no, it kicks you back.
They don't need to
You don't go
continue.
no further.
Right.
Oh, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
These guys have to go to school to get certified.
That's correct.
You understand what I'm saying? So if we hire police.
No. This requires a certified police chief. A certified officer. You can't just be somebody off the street. You would have to have the minimum amount of experience and be a certified. And I can read it to you very quickly if I put my glasses on. I think very clearly it says minimum qualifications shall have a Virginia driver's license, possess a current law enforcement officer certification from the Commonwealth of Virginia. So it can't just be a civilian who comes in and makes application. Minimum of 10 years of experience in law enforcement, possess extensive experience as police supervisor with the rank of sergeant or above, with a history of demonstrating excellent managerial and leadership qualities. A college degree is desirable, but may be waived in lieu of the candidate's level of experience and training. And obviously, there's background obligations that have to be completed, and they already do some of those kinds of things. And I think Sam currently does the background, but depending on who applies will dictate who does the background.
I didn't see that as part of this that it tells people, hey, I mean, it's understood you would expect it. Background and drug tests are going to be involved before you get the job.
And that needs
Add that
to
as
be-
a minimum qualification.
I think that's a minimum for every job.
What-
Sworn statement and
Do you
background
have it on
check.
here though?
No, I don't think it's written on here, but
But
yes,
could you put it on there?
I can put something like Town of Blackstone is a drug-free workplace for obvious reasons, and as a caveat at the end, and then on the other item, I can include that in there.
Background and drug test, yeah. That'd be great.
You gotta do a sworn statement? I'm just asking, because that's what we do with our job. We do the sworn statement and background check. I'm just asking a question. We don't have to do that.
There may be something that they have to sign. I'd have to look at the documents that they currently use to allow the background, and I think they certainly access state police background check.
I'm sure they
and
gotta have
that
all
sort of
that
thing.
anyway, because
Yeah, they're already doing these
applying
things,
for it.
and
I can send a copy to Jennifer just for y'all to look at.
Well,
You don't have to do it.
okay.
no,
So, roughly, now just so we all understand. So roughly, we're talking maybe 3 or 4 weeks before we even start an interview, right?
I would think so. Yeah,
And then another, what?
probably a month to
To
interview
hire.
and background and to hire. Yeah,
So
but
we
background can
probably-
be
he probably
extensive.
He probably won't come on board to say about the middle of November, or
I would say at the earliest, yeah. At the
want
earliest.
to get that clear.
Yeah, because you don't want to make a mistake here or just take a risk or a chance or something. You want to be thorough, certainly with this position.
Well, I know too, by looking at TV and all of this stuff that's going on television, about police going from, precinct to precinct, force to force, if they got a bad criminal record, or they just get a little slap on the hand and they move to another, position or another town or something. So hopefully we are looking really tight at that. 'Cause we don't want them to come and bite us about they did something in Lawrenceville or
That's-
Southfield, for example.
Well, not only the background check, but they also call previous employees and look at their personnel files. In fact, part of our discussions tonight about officers that we're trying to hire now and the status, but they will actually access the personnel files of the officers, and I would anticipate we would do the same thing.
Yeah, because we don't want to.
We have background checks every 7 years. I mean,
Do you?
we accept that that's happening. And work every 7 years, they do one.
Blackstone's so small, I think we all know.
I know.
We don't have to worry about it. We already
I'd like
know.
to make a motion that we go ahead and let Philip advertise for the position of
Yeah.
police chief.
And it's going to be a process. Learning. I've never hired a police chief before, so we're going to learn a little something altogether. And but I recommend deliberate, slow, even belabored, perhaps, to make sure we get the right hire. Okay.
Okay.
And I will put a salary DOQ, depending on qualifications. Okay, give you some flexibility, and in addition, we'll make those couple, three changes that you want to do, that you're certifying that you can meet the minimum qualifications, and put as a minimum qualification that you can pass. And I'll come up with a description as a state police background check or whatever. Okay.
So the average policeman makes what now?
They start about 43.
Top out at what?
Chief is probably the top.
No, I'm talking about the officer.
Can you run get it real quick, Jack? Yeah, she'll get it, so we have the accurate number that we give. In the meantime, I'll go over a couple things that are going on.
I think the chief is gonna be totally different from the regular police anyway.
I was just seeing what the top salary was. You see what I'm saying for the for an officer.
So you guys know, and we'll hit on a couple topics while she's running. The town of Blackstone has 3 vacancies right now. 2 that were added in the budget, if you remember, and then 1 position. We had an officer leave and transfer to the sheriff's department. So that position, there were actually 3 positions open.
How long had he been here?
I can find out.
Does he have to pay back any money or anything?
No, he's exceeded his contractual obligation time-wise, yeah. There's not a problem there. I have signed a contract for 1 new police officer of the 3 positions, and that individual is, drum roll please, an individual named Lorenzo Cavana. Lorenzo Cavana is currently a resident of Chesterfield County, who previously worked as a firefighter EMT with the Burkeville Fire Department. And he has been hired, formalized, and he signed his contract. The intention was for him to begin, if you guys remember, we may have discussed it, that Police Academy had started a 3rd rotation during the year. They typically had one in the fall and one in the summer and one in the, like in January or in the winter. And at this time, they are not gonna have a September. They were gonna add a fall class. They didn't have enough enrollees, and so they've canceled the September academy, so this individual would attend academy beginning in January, unless something changes or something comes up. So that is the earliest and nearest academy opportunity. This is not a sworn or certified person now. So Mr. Cavano is intending to start in January at the Criminal Justice Academy.
And that's 90 days, right?
I was gonna say, just for my knowledge, just 90 days
90
academy.
days?
I can't tell you the exact date, but it'll be in January when that starts.
Can I have a question? I'm sure they have it in the academy. Just from my knowledge, do we, as a Blackstone, because I'm on the board now, do we do diversity training and culture training? You know, how to
I'd
do
have to check with the
different
chief.
cultures?
I can't say we're terribly good at it at the office. We probably could do more of those things, but I would have to ask the chief if there are standards that are provided by the state, and do we have obligations and requirements, and are we either statutorily or voluntarily providing that training? I'd ask.
Because we were supposed to be having some classes for all the employees, weren't we?
I think ultimately, yeah. I
Yeah.
think that,
We were supposed to have been
We'll do
training.
it.
So we need to jump on it, because if we voted on it and said we were gonna do it,
no
we
problem.
need to jump on this diversity training.
So we have 2 positions open. We had 2 other candidates who had completed background checks, and one of the individuals is not going to move forward in the process. The second individual, they still need to go to their previous or current employers and look at their personnel files, and we may have an
We're gonna hire
announcement.
2 right now.
It looks like it's going to be 2. If one of those 2, one has dropped out, the other one, if they can make it through, it would look like it would be a second hire. Yes.
So then all we'll need is a chief.
You know, all we need is, well, you still got 1 vacant.
Still got 1 more
When
vacancy.
would the second person be hired?
Hopefully they can attend in January as well. That would be the goal, is to try to have both of those individuals. However, it's my understanding from chief that that individual may already be certified, so they could start sooner. I'm sure they have a drive-through or a period where they have to acclimate with a sergeant or a riding partner. But I'm under the impression that that second person may be a currently sworn officer and may not have to attend academy.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
Police cars, we have 3 police cars ordered. If you remember, there was $153,000 included in the budget. And man, getting vehicles is really tough right now. So they've been ordered, we await, and we continue to await arrival of new police vehicles. However, if you remember, we purchased an animal control vehicle, and daggone if that thing didn't come in. We have that vehicle here located at the police department. We await our appointment with Sheehy Ford so that we can install radios and other equipment on the interior of the vehicle. And in addition, it still needs to be painted, and typically Burkeville Body Shop will do the painting. So that vehicle is here, and we received a 55% grant on that vehicle and a 45% loan, and we'll do a second closing upon completion of all the install of the equipment. Okay.
And that also for that is ready to take on those duties.
There's Officer Robertson. However, animal control school, which he needs to attend before he starts doing this, is either in March or April of next year. Okay, March or April of next year are the earliest ones that Chief said today, and I met with Chief today, and he said it would be either March or April before he could do it. Okay.
So we're not gonna put the truck on the road till then? Or?
I'm sure they'll use it, especially if we have some new guys. If nothing else, maybe they drive it back and forth to school in the morning or the academy in the morning. But it'll be used, but it won't be a patrol vehicle, likely. Okay.
What else you got?
We got a few other items that I'll run by you. And I want anybody watching or listening to understand, beginning last week, noise ordinance is fully enforced in town. We are not writing warnings. Now, there's obviously discretion for the officers that they can, but the police department has been requested and instructed, you shall write noise tickets. We want the public to know. We want it to be well known. We don't want to write tickets, but we shall write a ticket for noise ordinance. No more.
But it's based on police witnessing, not public.
Police need to see it. Police need to hear it. Yep.
Did we ever find those signs? You remember a couple weeks
They're
ago?
ordered.
Oh,
They're ordered.
Where we put them up, we ordered them?
There's an,
Okay.
I asked Chief today about them, and he said, I
some are
thought,
up. I've noticed some.
are they up?
At
Okay.
the entrance to town. I've
Yeah.
seen some of them.
I'll go check, but the Chief has said, oh, yeah, that they've been ordered, and they may have arrived, and Dan may have already got them up.
Sounds good to me.
We have the new officer. We talked about noise ordinance. Please, if you drive through Blackstone or you live in Blackstone, do not violate the noise ordinance. It's going to be, I can't say zero tolerance because there is discretion that the officers have, and we don't want to take that completely away. But the officers have been instructed to write tickets for noise ordinance violations. And that will continue in the foreseeable future. We talked a little bit about animal control. Officers out, and important information for you today is we have 4 officers that are either out currently or have announced that they're going to take an extended period of leave for health reasons. Sergeant Matthias is out until at least October 19th. Officer Holt was involved in a pursuit where there was an accident in front of the Eagles Club last week. If you remember, there was a pretty significant collision. That was actually a police pursuit where somebody, if I'm not mistaken, was accused of shoplifting at Walmart. Officer Holt was not injured in the accident, was not involved in the accident, but when the driver bailed out or the occupants of the vehicle bailed out and ran while he was pursuing them on foot, that's when he got hurt. Okay? And it was a upper extremity injury. He has a follow-up visit first week in September, and that'll determine the likelihood of return or timing of return. Okay, and that is a workers' comp claim. We also have one officer, Robertson, who's currently on paternity leave. We expect that to be a 6-week. I can't tell you the date it began, but Chief was under the impression it would be 6 weeks, and he would be entitled to that under family medical leave.
Right?
Yeah, up to 12 weeks if he chose to take it. But they are obligated to use their leave while they're gone. And then there's a 4th officer who has some health issues and anticipates that being about a 2-week extended leave, beginning in the mid-September to the end of September.
Well, then, but I
Which
thought
one
he
is
said
that?
sh-
What's the 4th one?
He is Officer Scott.
I thought they said Shay was back.
She is back. So
3 now, right?
no, it's Matthias, Holt, Robertson, and potentially the 4th officer.
So the FMA is 12 weeks.
It is up to 12 weeks, it is. Yep. And I can tell you, we do have an application for family medical leave for one individual in the street department that was received on his behalf. So we'll be working with that individual. I don't think he has very much leave accumulated, and I think that individual will probably not be paid. However, in reading our personnel policy, I asked Tessie for a conference, and we do have to maintain health insurance on that individual. But because it is already paid 100% and it's not a family plan of any kind, since it is paid 100% by the town, we need to continue paying 100% during the course of the family medical leave. Okay. So we do have one individual in the street department that has applied for family medical leave, and they have been an employee over, I think, the 12 months that are obligatory before you're eligible for family medical leave. Okay. Question?
Do we need
Concern?
a motion for you to put this in the paper? Or
No, because that would just be a recommendation to council, so based on common consent, I'm gonna go ahead and move forward, if everybody's good with that, and, I'll ask Chief if he'll participate in the process. I think that would be a great idea, and, I think he'd be flattered, to tell you the truth. And, like I said, we just gotta dance around his schedule, because he may have something planned to go family-wise, or go to Florida, or wherever he may go, back to New York or something, and I don't know that, but we just may have to work around schedule. Okay. Everything else quiet in town? You guys all right?
Oh, I see we have one here about the HR job description. Are we discussing that?
What I'd like to do is present to you a job description. It's my understanding you'd like it to be a full-time employee, correct?
right?
And I'd like to have that to you within the next 30 days. Okay, because it's going to be budget contingent, so I don't think we have to be in a massive hurry. But I want to get the process going and get you guys to approve a job description, and then we'll put that in the budget process coming up this spring. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Anything else, Gomez?
Sir.
Carla?
It was brought to my attention today, I see it all the time, about the, trash, I hate to keep saying trash workers, the guys that pick up the trash,
Yes, ma'am.
about one person on the routes and stuff. What are we doing about that?
One person on the route? I'm not aware that anybody is one person on the route.
It is. It is.
That if there's one person on the back of the
Somebody
truck,
called in, or somebody called in or something?
now, only time there may be one person on the truck, only time, is if one guy jumps on the truck and they're going around the block to get the other guy, but there are gonna be two people on the truck at all times.
I see a driver and then I see somebody picking up.
Well, what that may be is there one person picking up, there are two people go on the truck every
So that's
morning
considered two.
on the back. There are two people on the back of the truck every day. That is a fact. You may see the driver and you may see one guy on the back, but that means the other guy may be in the alley getting trash and they're going around the block to go get him because they don't pick up trash together. They'll separate. One will go this block and the other one will go get this block perhaps, and that's maybe why you're not seeing them.
I know that's the way New York and Tucker do it.
That's why if you go out and see them, rarely do you see them both together.
No, you never see them together.
On this end of town, I see it when I'm going to work. I see two. On my end of town,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. But I may not be out there, so I just look. And if somebody called me and asked me, I swear I'll brand up and I will look.
I
'Cause I don't
promise you, if there's only one person assigned in the morning when the truck goes out, that's a mistake. We're making a mistake. There has to be two people on there. You're right. You drop a dumpster on somebody, it would hurt you. And if there's only one going out, I'm not aware of it. But like I said, one may be here and one walking down the block to go get trash from out of the back of an alley or something like that. But I'll ask Wallace and Dan if that is indeed the case, but I do not think that is the case. Okay.
With that, is there a process in place for? I mean, there's no HR to go to.
Mm-hmm.
They're non-union. So I mean, if an employee of the town has heartburn about something, wants to talk about something, has an issue about something,
If not me, or if I'm the issue, they need to come to the committee
so then the process is to come to you
first.
first.
And if I can't resolve something, or they're dissatisfied, or they're aggrieved, their grievance needs to be with you guys to start with, and perhaps the whole town council.
Because we talked some, Ms. Williams, we talked some one time about. I thought it might be a good idea. I don't know if we had like meetings with the teams.
Mhm.
with or without the leaders there? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, sometimes there may be an issue with the leader, or maybe we need someone, some way of them confidentially submitting an issue. Whether it be out there amongst them, you know, people in the town working, or somebody here in the
You
office
guys are the
working,
arbiters of,
something.
and final say is the full council, so.
Some type of process where they know they can be heard. That's the
And they
big.
know they won't get jammed up for it. And they know that they won't get repercussions
Yeah.
behind it.
Well, we don't take repercussions on people, so
It's illegal.
let the record reflect, that's not
Yes,
the way
that's
we
very
operate.
illegal.
Yeah,
But
we
it
don't roll
might
like
would
that.
be a good meeting, like he said, if we could get all of them in here, no supervisor, nothing, just hear what they got to say. And then we could bring it back to you.
We'll call a meeting next month, and I can present you that human resource, and I can tell the employees. I don't know how good a turnout you're gonna get at 7 o'clock at night.
Well, that's
Just
the other
saying.
thing. I mean, if they got something they want to talk about, they'll come.
They'll
You know
come.
what I mean?
They don't
I mean,
have to-
I know of some that have attended council meetings but won't come to that podium
Right.
because. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a perception, and that's not
Yeah,
fact.
I understood.
Yeah.
I understand. And I told the person that. But
And we've clarified that individual's complaints about having to get somebody to cover their shift. We have a application when somebody applies for leave. On that leave slip, there's been much ado about this lately. Every employee in the town of Blackstone, except for me, because I'm the only one that is truly salaried, okay? I'm the only one that's not eligible for overtime. That's understood and that's agreeable. But every other employee who wants to take a day of vacation or medical leave, they write down on their application for leave, so-and-so's gonna be answering the phones. If Carol takes a day off, that it'll be Mary, or it'll be Chastity or Jackie. So everybody has like Jennifer Daniels, she's gonna be off. She needs to check with me, make sure one of us can do a zoning permit. Because we're the two people that can do those kinds of things. Typically, it's never a problem. For whatever reason, two town employees felt like they were being denied their leave. It is completely false. Never happened. No leave has ever been turned down, except if it's cutoff day and one of the ladies at the counter may want it. You really need to be here on those particular days. Or somebody else has already requested time off. Nobody gets turned down.
Do they have
For
a
leave.
certain time, like if they want some time for October? Every job is different. I know if we want time for October, my job, we have to have it in by September the 1st.
You can do it 2 days ahead of time if
Oh,
you get
that's
somebody to cover for you.
Excellent.
But I do know getting people to cover on the garbage truck is never pretty because nobody wants to ride a garbage truck.
yeah, I don't. I guess from my perception, I don't understand how it's the guys that do go out on the truck's responsibility. Don't they have a leader that?
They are responsible to try to find somebody, but in that we don't have any problem anywhere else in town. But these two individuals have a hard time getting people to.
How they go find somebody when everybody's doing traffic?
They don't have to. That's what I'm telling you. Two people are going to be on that truck. So if they go to the guys and they turn them down and say, I ain't riding for you because I don't like you, or you've been mean to me in the past, or for whatever reason I don't want to do it, Wallace will have two people on that truck.
So they won't get denied their vacation.
Never.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I was going to say because
Never.
you're already short. You really can't find anybody to work because we're going through that now nursing. We don't have any staff, so somebody on vacation, I have to honor it because I don't have anybody to cover you anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we
want
do
you
the
to
best
do
we
it.
can,
Yes
but
and no.
that was much ado about nothing.
Yeah, it's just tough for me to understand. I mean,
It is a
people have to get their
responsibility.
own replacement in order
That was
to take
that
time
was
off.
that was my, and me and you argued about that.
Ultimately, it's the responsibility of the supervisor if they can't find somebody, but nobody else turns anybody down except on the garbage truck. Because a lot of guys don't want to ride the garbage truck. Sorry, your job is cut grass, but you may also have to ride the garbage truck. And it's Wallace's responsibility to have somebody, two people in the back of that garbage truck at 6 o'clock in the morning, or 6:15 or whatever they start. And it will happen, and they can get their vacation. This policy that we have, or this form, has been in place over 10 years, so it's never been a problem. I think maybe,
I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm asking. I'm working.
Probably in staff meeting, you have to bring it up again because a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
you have to go through things annually just to remind people. Because some people forget or
Mm-hmm.
people try to sneak in and try something. Or they'll get us involved because we knew and we don't know yet.
Right.
So
It's
it's always good to have a refresher course with all the staff.
I can remind the guys that may cut grass and that are back up on the garbage truck, if you say no, or if you do say yes and don't show up, it's your problem.
But listen,
You're on a hot seat.
you know, on my job, you used to have to do what they call leave planners. You had to program so much of your leave at the beginning of the year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
We
call
let
them
people
leave
take a
planners.
leave a day ahead of time,
Yeah.
as long as they can get your stuff covered.
There should be some window of time.
Well, we're trying to be flexible and helpful to folks, but
Because, you can come in tomorrow and say, I'm not gonna be here, then that's short. Whereas we do it a month at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Some position at my job do it 2 weeks at a time. But just to come up and say, oh, I'm not coming because I don't want to, I don't have a doctor's appointment, I just wanna leave.
they want to take their day off.
Fine.
We don't even deny that, as long as you got somebody doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
And that's adults tend to their business. And at the end of the day, if somebody wants to go to a Redskins football or a Commanders football game on a Friday night, if you can find somebody, great. But if people turn you down, and everybody that cuts grass, except for our summer help, is required to also ride the garbage truck in rotation. You don't have to do it the same guy every time, but in rotation, they're going to be one of those guys. So it takes a grass cutter off but there will be two people in the truck, and that is ultimately Wallace's responsibility to have two people in that truck.
Are we fully staffed in the admin now?
Yeah, all the positions that we have open or that we have authorized are filled right now. Yeah, and Tartisha has moved into she hadn't fully moved off the counter because we have a new person she's helping to train, but Tartisha did accept the job with a raise. I don't know if you know Tartisha Rich, one of our
Work in the window.
works at the window, and she will now be assisting on utility bills. Right now, she's still helping help the new woman understand the
Good, that's cool.
stuff.
It's been long started in there.
She's only been here maybe 3 or 4 months, and she applied, and we moved her up.
So how's the
That
bus
little
shop?
lady that, excuse me, Millie, how about to that little lady that we was impressed with?
Holly,
Did she accept?
she
the
did not
position?
apply.
Oh, okay.
She wanted to stay at the counter, and I never got a full explanation of why. But she's at the front counter, and we have asked her to be kind of the supervisor at the counter because we have a very, very new person, and so she'll be responsible for training and doing those kinds of things. So Holly is a blessing, and she's a helpful person. And Tartisha's turning out to be a good employee. The ladies are very impressed with her. New employee, I just don't know her that well. She's been here a week and a half.
That's the lady that was in there today.
What is her name, Jackie? Lee Bush.
She was in there today, right
Yeah.
on the far end.
On the far end, if you walk in on the far left side. Okay. And we try to be flexible. We try to let guys do it, but we also need them to participate and find responsible partners who are going to help them. If they won't do it, then Wallace has got to step in and say, you're going to do it. Because priority number 1, water. Priority number 2, garbage. Priority number 3, got to keep the lights on and keep
You
the
almost
sewer.
you almost feel like if you make it Wallace's responsibility to make it happen, then there should be something in place, a policy or some rule that says, hey, if X amount of time before you want your time, unless an emergency comes up.
That's what we do.
We can
I mean,
talk
in
about
fairness to
doing
everybody.
that.
Call
across the
emergency PTO. We do that at my job, but everybody's different. I
We-
don't wanna
we
come
just
change a lot of
super-
stuff.
Flexible. We try to help the guys. You want to take the day off, go deer hunting. All right. If there's 2 other guys on the electric bucket truck and they can make it work, yeah, go deer hunting. And if you get your time, go on with it.
Sounds good to me.
Now, last thing, you know that we've been providing a service to any employee that does not have a valid Virginia driver's license. We've been doing, I can't say Zoom, but online training courses. To my knowledge, none of the individuals have taken the driving test. Okay, so we're going to stop it on October 1st. Yeah, it's up to you now. After October 1st, if you want to take the test, great, and we'll give you a raise. If you choose not to take the test, that's on you. But October 1st will be the termination
That's
of
been
that
going on
training.
for a while.
You mean
Been
on
going on a
October 1st, you won't be no more classes.
No more classes after the 1st of
Yeah,
October.
they're not coming.
They not going anyway. You didn't have 2 people, was it?
That's $1.50 an hour.
Yeah. We had
a
4 or
driver's
5 that initially started, but we're down to just 2 people coming to the meetings, and
Who was that Bull and who else?
Milton, I believe. Milton, they both on the grass cutting crew. And we've been courteous and letting them take and pay them to come to do this and take an hour away from cutting grass to train. And I don't think it hasn't thus far borne fruit. So we're gonna.
Are they ready to go take the test?
They've
or
been
what?
doing it probably 6 months.
They don't different than Red or Night Miller. They've been doing it for 6 months.
Yeah. If they ain't ready, I don't.
That's a
Yeah.
10% raise.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I think it's excellent. That's a done deal. We can't keep holding our hands.
You right.
We do have one position open, and we had an individual today with the deadline, and I haven't heard from Jennifer whether he accepted or not. We made an offer. We had an individual who, I guess, resigned, but not under duress or anything like that. That was in the Water and Sewer Department helping Andre, and he decided he was going to not be working with the town. And so we've advertised the position. We've interviewed. I think we've interviewed 5 people for the job. An offer was made. That individual may or may not take it. Today was the deadline. If he doesn't take it, then we'll move on to number 2.
That's called what?
It's a water and sewer laborer position.
That's out there though, right? Or
No, it's not at the treatment plant. It's with Andre, and Ronnie Coleman is the other gentleman that's assigned to that department. And this is repairing water lines, making water taps, making connections in town or where the collection system is, and on Fort Barfoot, because we own the water and sewer system out of Barfoot.
What's the starting salary for that?
I think the offer was about $16, and then you would move up to $17.50 with a CDL.
If he got the CDL, would he get $17.50
You
start?
start at $17.50 with a CDL.
I try to tell those guys, man, the CDL, man, is the most important thing to have on this job.
You're the most valuable player.
Money, you know?
You don't go in the back of the garbage truck very often when you're a CDL guy.
You need to take it, just have it.
Yeah, I mean, you ain't got to worry about the garbage truck once you get your CDL.
You got a driver's license, it's less likely you go in the back of the truck. But we all make decisions and decide how we want to proceed. All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, man.
Oh, and she gave you the salaries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. You want to close it?
Yeah, I now adjourn this meeting of the police and employment at 7:40.